All right, we're live. Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bridge Podcast number 3. I'm here with Geraldo Boldewijn and Tommy Smith, two of my former teammates at Boise State. Um, yeah, hey, happy to have you guys here. Introduce yourself real quick.
So I'm Tommy Smith, originally from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. Played college football, obviously, with Ricky and Geraldo at Boise State. From there, got an opportunity with the Browns. Didn't make it out of preseason camp, so I ended up going back to Boise in 2014, where I started GAing. I was a graduate assistant from 2014 to 2016. 2017, I ended up moving. I wanted to get back closer to home, so I went back to Georgia. Started coaching high school football in Georgia from 2017 to 2020. Um, we moved to North Carolina. My wife got a different job, and so we moved to North Carolina in 2020. I've been here ever since. I held different titles. When I got into high school, I held different titles as special teams coordinator, defense coordinator, and now I'm the head coach at Athens Drive High School in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Awesome.
Nice. Geraldo Boldewijn, born and raised here in Amsterdam. Played football. Ricky and Tommy at Boise State. Let's see. After Boise State, got the opportunity to play Atlanta. Atlanta, we went through the camp and all that. Played in BC with the BC Lions in Canada in the CFL. After that, also went back to Europe, went back overseas, played in Germany for the Düsseldorf Panthers for a little bit, did some coaching when that was in 2018. That was my last year playing. And that's it. After that, retired from football. Right now, working in the corporate world, recruiter for Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, but still working with, also working with Slam Stocks, helping out student athletes from Europe, from Amsterdam. Geraldo Boldewijn from Amsterdam, born and raised. Went to college at Boise State. Played with Tommy and Tommy and Ricky from when? 09, 14, right? Yeah, 09, 14. After that, went to Atlanta. With the Falcons. After the Falcons, we went to Canada. We played in CFL up at BC, the BC Lions, Canadian football, and after that, we went back overseas. Played with Dusseldorf here in Germany, Dusseldorf Panthers, and then after that, retired from football. Right now, working with Slam Stocks, working with student athletes, got across all sports, giving them opportunities from Amsterdam to go overseas, get scholarships, and also working for Tommy Hilfiger as a full time corporate recruiter. And that's about it.
Man, that's awesome. So hey, so let's start it off. So let me start with you, Tommy. Like, how did you get into football? Was that a sport that you always played when you were younger, or how did that happen?
Man, it's kind of crazy. So originally, just how I got into it is I started at 4. I was bigger than a normal 4 year old, but my dad was in the military, and he was stationed in Oklahoma. And my parents were from Atlanta, but my dad, they had me. My dad went into the military, was in the army, and he got back. He was just like, "Man, we got to toughen you up. You've been a mama's boy for too long. We got to do something about it." So, he put me in football. So I was playing at Ben Hill when I was 4 years old, and again, I was bigger than a normal 4 year old. So I was playing 6 and under with. So I was the youngest kid out there, but I was playing with 5 and 6 year olds uh, at an early age, and then from there, I transitioned, and my dad got different jobs, so he was able to come coach me. I think at like I want to say 8 years old, we went over to another community park, Sandtown, from 8 to from probably about from 6 to 10. I was over there. 7 to 10, I was over there, and then ended up playing for my neighborhood which is Adamsville. I played there from 10 to 12, so I didn't play middle school ball. Normally, a lot of kids play middle school ball, but my rec league team was we were pretty good. So just to be in that type of environment and work with guys who truly care about kids and uh, obviously wanting to make them better, I went that route instead of going to middle school. So it was a little bit different for me because I was already younger for my age group. So for an example, um, I entered high school at 13. Normally everybody enters at 14, maybe going on 15. I entered 13 going on 14. So like I went to college at 17. I didn't turn 18 until we played Fresno. I think we played Fresno my freshman year. It's always around like Thanksgiving time, close to it. So I was 17 in college. So I've always been a little bit younger than everybody I played with. But yeah, that's how I got into it.
Wow. Man, I didn't know that. So, hey, G, I feel like me and you kind of had the same path when you were younger. What was that like? Did you play soccer? Was it always American sports, or what was that
Yeah.
about?
No, man, I had a whole different route. I had a whole different route because I used to dance when I was younger, right? I used to
Should
dance.
have got in the break, man. You should have been in the break dancing for the Netherlands, man.
There you go.
Break dancing, no. Hey, that's crazy. No, I used to dance for this dance academy, right? Growing up, I started dancing. I think when I was 5, 6 years old, and continued on until 12, 13, 14. I can't really remember, but I quit because I got introduced to football, right? And it was flag football, and got introduced to it through like it was like a tournament called Top Score at the time. It's like a school tournament, bunch of schools were playing in it, and then right after the tournament, everyone would get a ticket to go to an NFL Europe game, and then you get to see the Amsterdam Admiral game, right? So that was like the hype, and that's how I fell in love with the game. So at the tournament, that was played on a field, Amsterdam Panthers, and that was the club that me and Ricky ended up playing for. So I signed up there, man. Went to the first practice. I don't think I missed one practice ever since. Yeah, I don't know. We had a really good youth team. I think what really attracted me to the game was just the people around me, right? Like it was the area too. It's the southeast of Amsterdam. It's a very diverse area, very multicultural. A lot of people from like let's say Suriname, Africa, the Caribbean, but also like the Middle East. Doesn't matter, right? Everywhere. And a lot of our friends and families are from there. A lot of talent and all that. So we had a good bond. We had a good, talented group. We played games. We barely knew the game, but we knew the rules, and then we competed, and then we beat out people. So then we started traveling. So then it was not just playing in the Netherlands, but we went over to Germany, to France, or whatever, even all the way out to Eastern Europe. That was the nice thing, doing that with those guys from like this little piece of place in Amsterdam, and then being able to go all these other spots, playing the game, and then competing, and we were doing good. We had a good youth team, so that kept me to the game, man. And then that's how it all started for me. And then we just wanted more. Made our way to America, and then that's how that shit started.
The rest is
So yeah, no, it's crazy. What is for you guys? When is that moment in your life where you're like, yeah, football, I'm good at it. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to make that push to play collegiate. When was that?
Collegiate.
man. Go ahead, G.
Yeah, no, no. College started when we. I think when we started. I think when we were in America, bro. When we were in America, that's when in college really. Because first it was just like making it to America, making it to a high school. That was just like on my mind. I just wanted to go play football in America. Then we came to Boise. Mind you, that we went to a Boise State camp. We didn't even know Boise State like that. You know what I mean? We just went straight to America. That's it. Didn't know it was in the state of Idaho. It was like we were going to America. Nothing else mattered. So college football came once we were there. Once we were there playing there, we knew Seth was playing there as well. then you saw the stadium, you see more, and then there was an opportunity to get more out of it. I think, yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah.
early in high school, man, when we got there, early in Boise High School. I don't know when that was again. '08, summer '08, fall '08. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like always glued to the TV, like watching. Obviously growing up here, Georgia is a big football state, so it's pretty. That sport is pretty big down there. So I grew up watching a lot of college football, Georgia Bulldogs. Watching a lot of SEC teams, um, and obviously, you got the Atlanta Falcons downtown. So I just grew up a big football fan, and I don't know. Early in life, I thought I wanted to play in the NFL. I thought it'd be cool, like you get to play football for a living. Um, and I would say in high school, that became a goal. Like, yeah, I think I can achieve that, but obviously you got to go to college first and do all of that. But I don't know. I've always felt like I work really hard and my talent kind of mesh well with it with the work ethic. So it took me kind of far. But uh, I would say, man, even with that being said, it being realistic was more like junior year, maybe sophomore year, where sophomore year was my first year playing varsity. Like for real, like ninth grade year, we got moved up, but sophomore year, I was playing, and you take your lumps early. It kind of make you second guess because you playing with older kids and stuff like that.
Right.
And but 11th grade year, I think taking them lumps as a 10th grader, my 11th grade year, I ended up being good. Like, you know, good to the point where everybody, like the other team, know who you are, type. Not like, oh, everybody in your school know that you're good. Like everybody knew, who's good at their school. But when the other team started to notice, then you kind of start to feel like, okay, I can do this for real. So I think mine was probably like 11th grade year where I was like, yeah, I'm going to college to play football for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. So
Wait, can I say
so
something? Can I say that? Can I say something that what's crazy? Actually, how you say that when I'm hearing your story, because like once we got to Boise, once I got to Boise, and like of course NFL would then become a goal and a dream, and all these kind of things. But like just how you explained that, how you felt from in high school going to college about like like your goal. Um, Basically, what I want to say is that's how I felt in college, then reaching the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Because I felt like once junior season hit, then it was like, oh, oh snap, this could be a real thing, like it's not just like, oh yeah, we just had, we here in college, we winning and all that, but it's like, snap, maybe beyond, we can't keep on playing. I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. But in high school already though, so and then I feel like for me, it sets me also in a different mindset because it was like the sport was it was an enjoyment. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was networking with a lot of guys, and like, yeah, I was grinding, but I wasn't grinding the way I was grinding when I knew that, like, oh man, we can make some money with playing this game.
You're saying in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
high school, I think, was a point where we were just better than
yeah,
people. And it was
yeah,
fun. Like, you worked hard, but you were just better than people. I think
yeah,
when we got to college, you realize like, oh, this is a job. Like
yeah. No, no, for
this
sure.
this is like for real. Like yeah, everybody got to run the 110s or whatever we were running at jingle jangs. Everybody got to run it, but
Hmm.
you also competing against this dude for a spot, and like
Hmm.
every rep matters. And high school
Hmm.
is like I was better than people, so yeah, I may make this play, but not in the next play. I may miss a tackle. I'm still gonna be in the game though because I'm
Yeah,
just better than some of the other kids on the team. But in college, it's like, all right, you have a real practice. You may be, getting some second string reps because everybody
yeah.
coming for that spot.
Yeah. No, but that's also something I want to highlight, right? Because that's like the differences in our backgrounds as well, right? Because I'm on this side of the pond, and I hear now all these future student athletes, right? Like how I feel like this generation now here in Amsterdam of student athletes, They know a lot more about the game and what's out there in America. So yes, they wanted more, but then I think sometimes what they a little bit lack perhaps is that like they haven't been around other high school players with your background that have been wanting what they want for like years and been working for it for years. Like, that's like where,
The gap is. But it's
yeah,
not only it's not only I wouldn't say it's only across there. I think I got kids right now like on my team or kids that I've coached before that they got this dream of going D1 and I'm like, you're not even putting in enough work to be a
right,
D1 athlete. Like I know like a lot of kids go D1, but you're looking at the grand scheme of the country and all these kids are going D1. Like it's not like that. Like you have to put in so much work to be like you need to aim before you thinking about D1. Be the best in your county. Be the best in your region. Then be the best in your county. Like because that's what it takes to be a D1 guy. Like or lady. Like you have to be so good because you're not only competing. I think people think like oh we're just competing against the people that we know. No, bro, I'm from Atlanta. They came there and I went to Boise, Idaho. I went across the country.
mhm,
So they come to get people from everywhere. If you can play, you can play. They're gonna find you. But I don't think a lot of people understand that.
yeah,
Yeah, I think but I think, we talk about this from time to time, man, guys and girls. Like they don't know because I don't know how I knew. I just grew up competitive. Like I just grew up
yeah,
and my teams were really good. So I was already introduced to that competitive nature where
mhm,
I wasn't always the best on my team. Like I had dudes on my rec league team that were better than me.
yeah,
But whether it was academics or they decided to go on a different route in life, like they didn't make it as far as me. Um,
yeah,
so I think there's so many factors that go into it uh, that people don't really understand, especially when you're trying to achieve that level. I have yet to have one D1 kid since like this new like and that's I had an all state tight end a couple of years ago. All state tight end, he was still D2.
yeah,
Uh, but I don't, especially with the rules changing of the transfer portal and all of that stuff.
yeah,
It's not the same.
Oh yeah. So the way I got into it is, I mean, I played soccer for how a good amount of my years growing up, and then my older brother he went to his high school had a program where they start doing more different sports. You already talked about it. Top
mhm,
score program. That's where you had the tournaments, right?
yeah,
And he started out with basketball. And I was, as a younger brother, I'm like, dude, I'll play basketball too if he's playing. So I started doing that. I wasn't very good. Then he started playing flag football. Flag football was a little easier for me. 5-on-5 flag, played center, and then went out and ran a route. That was fun. And then yeah, like the same thing. We were at Panthers field, just being around there and being around like Roy, everybody's trying to bring you in. They're excited about having you. And then I remember buying some messed up like helmets and pads, like some shit was not up to code or up to standard. But they were like, man, that's the only one we got. And it was a lot too. It was like 300 some euros. And I had to ask my parents, like, hey, can we do that? And my mom was like, shoot, if you better pick a sport that's gonna be a little cheaper. So we got that, and then once we put the helmet on and everything, I think for me being a bigger person, bigger posture, it became easy. I was in there with the older guys, which I think was a violation too. Just playing, I was like 15 playing against grown men on practice, and I'm like, dude, I shouldn't be here, just getting tossed around. But it was just fun. Once the game started, then I had a good time. And I think that's the biggest determining factor for me to, get to have gotten where I is, just having fun. I feel like a lot of times in high school, from what I noticed, kids are too worried about, I want to go D1 and I want to go do this and that. bro, just go out there and have a time and just be a ball player. And somebody's gonna notice, like, oh, this is a guy. He's really enjoying being out there. Of course, you got to put in the work, like make sure you're physically strong and you have the footwork to do the things. But I think for me, I was just big and I just came out and try to smack kids, and I think that just turns heads. And then everything kind of worked in my favor. I think yeah, I think right now the focus is a lot on. I think it's a little more professional than what it used to be. You know, kids in high school already working towards. I mean, maybe that's the way it should have been. You know, from a younger age, just having that goal of I'm trying to go to the league, or I'm doing the things to give me to be in that on that path, which I think is good. Um, for me though, I think it's just that recruiting process. A lot. I think there's a lot of misconceptions on, especially for young kids and parents that don't know what's going on. Like, can you guys talk a little bit more about what it was like to get recruited? Like, how did it start? When was your first offer? First time you got a phone call, or anything like that?
For me, man, it was so played varsity as a 10th grader, came in 11th grade, had a good year. And then that spring, it picked up fast. I mean, people were in and out of schools. Now, Georgia, again, is a little bit different. It's on the level of Florida, Texas, California, Ohio. Like it's big time football. So a lot of people come, a lot of schools come and try to, find talent in Georgia because it's a hotbed for football. But had a lot of people in the spring. And then my coach ended up leaving. Well, before he left, I had a couple of schools come in. They wanted to offer. They wanted to get some things done, but I hadn't took my SAT score because I had never. Nobody had told me about it, and I needed to get my core GPA up as well. I was pretty good in school. My ninth grade year, I was just getting trying to get acclimated. There was so much going on. Uh, coming from middle school and going to high school, and then it was just so much going on. So I wasn't as focused as I should have been. But I need to get my core GPA up. So my coach my 11th grade year put me in the class that I need to get in so I can get my core GPA up. I took the SAT. I'll never forget. I took it on the same day as prom because my GPA was good. Uh, I just needed to score at that time because I had not went back and taken some classes and my GPA because at that time it was on a sliding scale. So the higher your GPA, the lower your test score. At that time, I just needed a score. So it started to pick up and then it died down because my coach left. So throughout that process, we got a new coach, and man, I didn't get so having all that attention. I went to a couple of camps and nothing big. I went to a couple of camps, and my senior year, I didn't get my first offer until probably no. I know it was during basketball season. I know it was after football season because I would have these guys come in during basketball practice. They would be at my basketball practice watching me move, and I go talk to them and all that stuff. And then from there, once I got one, it was a wrap. Like I don't even know. Like I know how I got to Boise, but I'm not sure how Andy Avalos uh, had my film because I didn't send it at that time. YouTube was becoming, guys were putting their stuff on DVDs and stuff like that. So uh, I had man, my friend, man, my quarterback, man, we ended up making a highlight tape because this is before huddle. So we ended up making a highlight tape. From the highlight tape, we ended up putting it on YouTube. And I didn't send it. I went online, looked at the coaching staff, and I didn't put it on anything past. I mean, I didn't send it to any school past Texas because I was like, I'm not going past Texas. And somehow Andy got it. Next thing you know, I was in Boise. Andy sent it to Juice. Juice gave it to Wilcox. And next thing you know, I was in Boise.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, I'm about to look that tape up though. I
Yeah,
need to
it's
see.
on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
I need to see that.
It's on YouTube. My kids, man, my kids now, they always want to talk crazy to me. Always, like, how kids are. Oh, you was trash.
Yeah,
Blah, blah. And I just tell them, like, when I was your age, you couldn't have played on the same field. Y'all would have been mad at me because I was practicing. I was practicing so hard. Y'all would have been like, Cody, you got to relax, man, because I'm trying to take your head off. But yeah, sometimes
Yeah,
they pull it up. Now you can search anything. So they always, a kid came up to me, and once one kid know, the whole school knows. So yeah, it'll go.
yeah.
Um,
Hey,
what high school did you play for? I'm looking it up right now. I'm about to pull it up.
North Carolina High School. I
yeah,
North Carolina High School.
All right.
that's
You just
crazy,
gotta
though.
you gotta put in Tommy Rocksmith. I think it comes up with Tommy Rocksmith. I think so.
Yeah, rock though. Come on. Remember when we were watching? Remember when we were watching all those high school clips in college?
Yeah.
I know. I don't. Everyone remembers Hunter's high school prison page. We had it at the house.
Yeah.
It's yeah, man. Hey, but I ain't gonna lie, it was nice. It was cool.
Man,
No,
that's
You
the
bro,
just
crazy.
talking?
it was cool.
That's
Um,
the that's the crazy part too. Is like we really came up from the era of DVDs, man. It's so easy for you
yeah,
to put your
yeah.
info out in front of
Yeah.
coaches now with YouTube. Like there's so many streaming
What?
opportunities.
To make the DVD though, Rick, this is where we were. To make the DVD, I had to I had to get two VCRs, all right, go from game tape to making the highlight tape on a blank tape. So I would play the tape, and I would record it on the other VCR, all right, and
Mm,
then at this time they had these VCR DVD. It was one. You remember that?
right.
It was on both sides. You can play DVD or you can play a tape, VHS tape,
Yeah.
and made the highlight tape on the VHS tape, and then dubbed it to the DVD, and then put it. Bruh, I'm like when and that, but that's the type of like determination that I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
the
Like,
technical
are
work.
kids really gonna do that if they to go to where they want to go? Are you really gonna put that much time in to go to like to make your dream happen, or is it just I don't know, I'm bored, I don't want to do this no more, and you just stop because kids don't understand that part. Like that had nothing to do with talent. That's just
Right.
effort and putting the time in.
Yeah.
It's that instant gratification that's is current right now in society. I feel like a lot of times if it's not paying off right away, kids are like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But hey, G, so tell me about your recruiting experience because I feel like me and you, I mean, we were in Boise, but how did you end up at Boise State? Like, what was that decision like?
Yeah. I remember it went actually pretty fast. It went pretty quick. It went pretty quick for me at least. So it was a first year at Capital. I was a senior at Capital. We played a few games. I remember having some chats with Boise already, talking to Coach Pete here and there, talking to Coach Pease, talking to Coach Harson, so we had some chats. Coach Harson, he graduated from Capital as well. So I remember meeting him at the school. That was dope at the time. I remember how I felt about that. So, remember when all those letters come in and all that. I talked to a bunch of other guys that got in college. Everyone got letters from all other schools. I only got recruited by Boise State, which was cool. I think I think deep inside, I knew that I probably wanted to end up at Boise because, it was my first year in Boise. I was there with my host family. You all met my host family. They're wonderful people. I mean, I felt like family. It was like, do I really want to leave another family again? I just got here, right? So that made it easier to stay there. And then, of course, the success of the team, that was nice. But even about, yeah, no, like, I remember what I do remember very vividly. I had a game at Capitol. We played Caldwell. Man, I went off. Had three thugs first half, just only fly sweeps. I was just going sideline to sideline, fly sweeps, chase fly sweeps. And bro, they was in the house. I got hurt. Coach P was at that game. And I think a week later or 2 weeks later, whatever, really close after that, me and and Dr. McMartin. we went to Coach Pete's office, and that's where he offered me the scholarship. And I remember that. I remember us sitting in this room in this office there, and it felt like a movie. Coach P was just being cool, and then he put that envelope on the table, and he's like, I remember him saying just like, "We are ready to offer you a scholarship right now," and then he shoved it my way at that moment. I was like, shit, it's a movie, man, excitement. So I do remember that part. That was joy. I went on a bunch of unofficial visits at Boise, because we were already there. We were in the backyard. One official visit, which was fun. Were we together on that? Yeah, you were there too. I think we were on visit together. Yeah. No, that was fun. But I think that's kind of how it rolled, man. But it went fast. It went fast because I do remember too when I got offered. It didn't take me long to accept. I mean, I could have hold out. I remember us talking about that because it was our first year in the U.S. Right? It's like, man, like, are you already gonna settle right now for the first one, or are we gonna look around? And no, for me it was easy. I think I already knew what I wanted to do, so. Yeah, man, we had Kellen at the time. We was bombing it. I saw Flea and Titus getting all these. Man, I was like, hell yeah, I'm there. I'm there. It was easy. So
Did you call like when you got offered? Do you remember calling back home?
oh yeah. So I that was one thing too. So I didn't accept. I didn't verbally commit until my mom was there. So my mom was also scheduled to come. So I don't know, man. The stars just lined up great for me. My mom was scheduled to come as well, and I was like, well, if that's the case, they did the whole tour, showed my mom around. We went. Then the Stucco Sky Center was new. It was still being built, but we went up. They took us up. We had the field, Boise. We saw the stadium. My mom all like, whoa, this is crazy. She's like. So, you like this place, right? Because like Amsterdam is great, but look at this place. I'm like, yeah. So at that point, I remember my mom was there. We were at Boise and we verbally committed there. And then it was like, yeah, just kind of like to show my mom too, like, if I'm gonna stay here for the next 4 or 5 years, like, this is the place that we will be staying at. And yeah, that was good. Good time after that.
Yeah. Getting that offer, everybody's excited. You're excited, and then summer passes, and then you show up at campus, like, and things kind of change. I don't know. That's how it was from my experience. Like, I remember Coach Pete telling me during the recruiting process, he was like, "Man, if anything happens, go ahead and give me a call, and we'll talk it out." And then it's the first thing that happened when we got on campus. Coach Pete was like, "Yo, the number that we gave you is not a real number. I changed my number. Don't call me. Call your coach." I feel like that was the realization where I was like, oh, snap. So he's got a little different. I mean, not to saying it wasn't a good experience, but a lot of things happened during recruiting that, are just there for you to feel good about it. But once you step on campus, it's a little bit different. Tell me a little bit about that first few months being on campus and going through practice and not practice, but training, strength training and conditioning. How did you guys experience that?
Yeah, so I remember coming to Boise because we started participating in the summer workouts quite early. We were already there, so that was good. I remember meeting Kyrie when he just came there too. And a bunch of other guys, and I remember us getting to the workouts. Now, I came off a track season, so running I was good. Like I'm not saying I wasn't struggling, but like running was, I could run. The lifting was definitely getting there, or I would say the combination running and then lifting, or lifting first and then running after. I mean, that one still kills me, but. I think it was good though. I was actually more excited. I was more excited because that immediately got me, because like how we work out in the summers, like we wasn't bullshitting. But then to come into that stuff and seeing all classes, it don't matter who you was, senior or redshirt, whatever, everybody was going at it. and like people were good and people were struggling, but it didn't matter. Like we would come back and do that shit again. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, like call me weird, but that shit, I don't know, that shit got me excited. I was down for it. You know, I'm like, as long as I knew I wasn't gonna be the first one to drop, kind of thing. You know, I'm like, okay, then I can't drop. You know, I can't. I saw no one else drop. I saw no one else drop. Like, fuck it, then I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do remember too, though, like having some moments in between, like those first saw hard workouts, being in the locker room, sitting in that bitch for so long because like I'm like I might be sick or I don't know, you know what I mean? Like you don't know if you're sick or not, but like you just can't move type of shit. Like that feeling. Yeah, that was crazy. But I think that definitely made us stronger though. I mean, that made me stronger, right? But man, yeah. Well, coming back from the breaks, the first few workouts, man, damn. It's like punishment. They knew. They knew. But yeah.
The crazy part is because it doesn't matter. It doesn't, to me, it never mattered how hard I went. I could have went the hardest. When I got back to campus, that first couple of workouts, dying.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean that first summer was wild for me because I had one summer where we lift weights in high school. We didn't have a weight program. That wasn't a thing for me. So I ended up I remember like the first day in the weight room, and I think we we obviously had a really good staff. Like all those guys are head strength coaches now, you know.
Yeah.
Jones is on Jones. I think he at Arkansas State. Max at Michigan State.
Russell was the first one.
Russell's at Missouri. So like, we had good guys that kind of teach us like how to do stuff, how to do it correctly. So it was cool for me because I just soaked it all up like I was a sponge because I didn't know any better. I'm just doing exactly what they told me to do. They taught me how to lift. No Olympic movement. I hadn't even seen an Olympic movement. We were doing bench press and squat and stuff like that when I was one summer in high school. But so jumping in, and I'm jumping in, and y'all remember T-Jack, Tyler Jackson. So T-Jack, Jamar went to Helix, Ralph went to Jesuit. They came from schools that are like real life, like good and they got real programs and stuff. So we get in, I'll never forget, like I'm squatting. And I'm like, I got 315 on my back, so I'm feeling like, oh, here it ain't gonna get too much heavier than this. I look over, I see Ralph, Jamar, and T-Jack, they adding plates, they adding weight. I call home, like, hey, Dad, hey man, this college thing for real. I don't know. He's like, look, man, you ain't never, he taught me off. He like, he talked to me about like understanding, like I didn't have a real rate program. These guys are coming from real programs. And, at the end of the day, you can play football. So, you may not be the strongest, but you got to just continue to work at it because what you can do is play football. So none of that stuff really matters. But, you just got to get in the system and learn. So it was crazy for me because I jumped in like very raw, not even like lifting. And at that time, I was on extreme weight gain because I came in at like 180 pounds. So after the lift, after the lift and the run, like you saying, I'm in the locker room laid out, but I still got to go get 2 chocolate milks and eat power bars, nasty power bars. So it was definitely a change for me. It was a big change for me, but it all worked out for the better.
Yeah. I think that's another thing that I feel like talking to younger guys and they're like, yeah, I work out. I'm like, nah, you don't really work out until you go through that real college program. Because I feel like just the amount of gains you make and just like, I don't know. For me, it was like, I was always bigger, so I was athletic. But then once you get that muscle on you and you realize there's so much more you can do with your body that you before couldn't do. And I feel like that's when your game's really going to take a step. Because I feel like, yeah, it's like I said, like as guys that can play ball, they can make plays. But once you have that little extra oomph on you and you can all of a sudden move people the way you couldn't do before, I think that's that step. But I remember one of the first practices on the blue. Not practices. It was a workout on the blue, and I think we did. I think it was jingle jangles or some short distance stuff. And all I remember was I think we lost like 3 guys, man. 3 guys went just off of. I think Malcolm was like that had to escort him into the ice tub. The other guy was just laid down on the floor. Like we were done for. And I feel like it's that mental toughness. It's that mental toughness aspect. Because I don't think what we did was that crazy. It's just the succession of it and how fast we're going. And I think it was just like a lot of times we just opt out and say like, oh, it's too much. I can't do it. But once you get through a few years of that, then you realize you can do much more. So that's the main thing I take from the working out part. So and then but going back to like that preseason, it doesn't matter what Tommy said it. Like it doesn't matter how hard you went during off season or when you went home. When you come back, it's still going to be hard. Yeah, what was your schedule like, Tommy? Like when you went back home, did you work out a lot?
Yeah, I did, but it wasn't as near as what I should have done. And I tell people all the time, a lot of that is about the experience that you have. Like I didn't have guys in my high school that were just going D1, so I didn't know what that really looked like. Like when you go home to work out, to have a group to work out. Like we got guys on the team who are teammates who are going back home to their high schools and they working out with guys that are playing at different colleges. So they obviously gonna get better. They're gonna get faster. They're gonna get stronger. They got because if I can do it all over, when I went home, I would have paid for a trainer, and I would have just trained with a trainer every time I went home.
Yeah.
But I went home. I was a kid, man. 17. That first summer, let's see. I think I went home for a couple of days between that first summer workout and fall camp. I went home for a couple of days and I came back and I died the first day of fall camp. It was over, like because I had like some simple as we running from drill to drill. Like I was used to like us conditioning after practice. We didn't condition after practice not once since maybe Pete had to be pissed off for us to condition after practice. Like I never remember conditioning after practice, but I could be wrong. But I know for a fact that wasn't a regular thing. Like it was always if you ran during practice, you never ran after practice. And we were running from station to station, And this is I think what was their high school? Was it Boise High? No.
What high school used to practice? Junior high. It was a junior high, I think.
Who?
We went to Rocky before and to North, I think.
No. This is the one across the street from Boise, where that Chick-fil-A at now. I think they now built the turf field over there.
It used to be Dona Lawson Park. I don't know if it still is.
Yeah,
no, it used to be,
yeah. I thought it was a high school though, but I don't know. That little park across the street, across by the river, right? Once you cross the bridge.
Yeah.
We used to go over there, and before they made the turf fields, it was multiple fields over there. So it's outlined. We got to run from field to field. We got, the 5-man sled on one field. So we got to run there. Then we got to run back to the line where the linebacker's doing India. Then we got to run over to the offensive field because we're doing 7-on-7. It's like, bro, I'm out here dying. Like I ain't never ran this much. I couldn't even believe like we had more than one field. We over here running the 3-4 fields. We got special teams on one.
I remember.
What are we doing?
Yeah. That stuff was set up for us to have a hard time. I remember they put the big boys, the O-line, D-line on the other side, and then they're gonna start the actual practice team practice on the other side.
I had y'all like the pre-practice stuff over there.
Yeah, man, that was rough. But I think the only time we really conditioned was what is it called? Like the turnover, the challenge. We
we didn't get 3 turnovers, or maybe like bowl game, like that type of stuff. But I don't like we ran so much, man, and we ran so much that it's kind of crazy because I met different people that played at different schools, and I remember meeting this guy that played at Kansas State, and he was like, they ran like 2050s out to practice. And I was like, bruh. Like y'all really out here just running.
They were just bad kids.
They were just running. But he said they practice was so long. They had a halftime at practice and everything. I'm like, nah, we ain't even work. Like, we ain't operate like that.
No, man. I do remember those hot practices, though, the hot fall camps. It was my freshman year. Yeah, I know it was my freshman year. And I think it was maybe the first practice of full pads. Full pads, right? Now we all geared up. It's probably 100 plus degrees in Boise, dry heat. It's probably like 1, 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Bro, I remember being so tired. I'm like, nah, I can't do this. So I got to go to the bathroom, right? So I go in those, what do you call them things? The Peter potty or
Porta
whatever.
potties. Porta
Porta
potties.
potties. And I go in, bro. I'm like, I need to catch a breath. Mind you, it's hot out there. So now I'm in this thing, bro. It's steaming in there. It smells bad. You know what I mean? Like you can't see, but it smells blue. You know what I mean? Because it's probably blue in there, right? But I almost passed out in that thing, just trying to catch a breath, bro. Like, bro, that shit was so bad, bro. Got out of there, just like hand on my knees for like literally 1,001, 1,002. I was like, nah, bro, they can't catch me like this. So I went back out there, bro. But I won't never forget that moment I had with myself in that thing, bro. Like, what if niggas caught me? Like, what if people would have caught me just pass out in that thing, boy?
Face down in the porta potty, man. You
I
would have had
almost
trash.
passed out in that thing, bro. It was so hot in there. I remember just thinking, like, closing the thing, thinking, like, all right, I'm safe. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
No, you made a worse decision going in there.
Oh, it was bad. But never after. But after that, never again. Though, of course, I died. You know, just being tired and stuff like that. But that was a moment where I thought, like, nah, I gotta go. I remember looking around too, seeing if someone's gonna fake an injury or something or fake passing out. Nah, you never thought about that, like running or like, dude. But if I pass out right now, is Mark Paul gonna take me serious right now or not? You know what I mean? Like, hey,
One time in my whole time at Boise, I felt like that. Remember, so I'm a class above y'all, but every time we went to a bowl game, we did something. What did y'all do? Were y'all to boxing? Was that your class?
We went hiking or something.
Oh, y'all went.
We were after
you went soft.
Yeah.
You went real soft because the year before it was my class. Okay, so we playing in San Diego. And we go down there and we do a Navy SEAL workout with the Navy SEALs. I remember this because if y'all remember back, this is before we became. Oh, shoot, I think your first year was the Fiesta Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so before that, we used to have y'all may have got a couple of the white T-shirt with the Bronco football on it with the blue shorts. Mm-hmm. That was our workout gear. Like that was like our gear, you know, because like the come up from that type of gear to what we started to get y'all freshman year. Mm-hmm. So I remember at the bowl game we had got a new pair of shoes. We had got a new pair of socks. They give you new bowl gear, but I just remember we got a new pair of shoes, and new workout stuff, all the compression shorts, everything. And I remember we put it on. Everybody had their bowl gear on. We went to the Navy SEAL workout. When we get to the Navy SEAL workout, first thing we see is they showing us the video of Hell Week. So I'm like, yeah, they ain't gonna put us through that type of stuff. Like the football team. All right, we get there. And then after the video get over, they start getting out, yelling at us all crazy, get in line, blah, blah, blah. calling us all different type of names. This one I knew it was over. This one I knew it was over. I said, this is not a joke. This is for real. This is the real deal. We get into the lines, right? And they're talking about doing PT. They're talking about doing different exercises, how to count, all that stuff. One, we couldn't even get that right because we were so used to going 10, 11. We had to go 10 back to 1. And so we kept messing it up. We finally got that right. All right. So once we got the time, the jumping jacks and push-ups, once we got the count right, he was like, all right, before we start, you guys got to go get sugar cookied up. So we all looking at each other and we like, oh, yeah, he just joking. He ain't for real. They came after us. They sent us to the beach. They like, we got to jump in the water. And remind you, this is my fresh, like probably the first day I put on this bowl gear, like the new gear.
This is new gear. We can't be this.
New gear, new shoes. They run us in. We go get in the ocean. We come back. We have to roll in the sand, and then we start the workout. But when I tell you, like nobody quit. But that thought of like, this may be a little too much. This may be, I don't know. This is it. I remember saying, you know how Saha was. He was get out there, you tight. I just remember Saha saying, "Good job, guys. Good job." And I was like, he know this is way too hard.
Yeah.
But we made it through. And making it through, man. That was one of the hardest things I ever done in my life. But not quitting and making it through. There's no surprise that we won as many games as we did because we went through stuff like that together and people didn't quit. So
facts.
Yeah.
I
heard about that one.
The bowl game practice after that, we went hiking. So you guys hooked us up.
Yeah.
You know how upset I was? I'm like, hiking?
I heard one year they went fighting, bro. Then one year they went through an MMA ring.
Yeah. I think that's the year after y'all.
I think it was Saxon. Something happened, but I can't remember what it was. I think I wasn't even there though, but I think Saxon went up there that year and went pretty hard with the MMA fighter. But that's crazy. But you know what though? You know what's wild? Because I do remember this too though. Now we were so in shape and we were so young. Like I truly believe that like if it was physically possible that I could do it, right? So like, it would suck, but I'd be able to do it though. Like, so but I don't know how I would have handled that kind of workout though. But then do you guys remember the very first time we were messing around with those prowler sleds? The prowler sled.
Oh, yeah.
So that was I remember that because for me it was a movie because we were in the indoor and we ended up doing a relay with the prowler sleds. Yes, I think it was a full team relay type of stuff, right? Bro, at the end, I think not even at the end, people started puking, right? But like, in the indoor, it sucks to do that shit in the indoor. But then we ran out of trash cans, bro. Bro, I don't think we ever did a prowler relay like that ever again, bro. That was ridiculous, bro. I remember looking around, everybody just feeling bad. I remember at the time, who was this? I think it was Jungblood, or no, I'm lying. It's Kemper. I think it was probably Kemper. But I just remember looking at someone in the eye, looking just straight at death, and just dry heaving. Like just like no water's coming out, but we just making sound. Like, bro, prowler sleds. Yeah, man, that one was my soul. Yeah,
I remember that one because everybody was hanging on a trash can. That was
trash can, bro. It was like multiple people to a trash can. Yes, bro. I remember that scene. This is crazy, bro. Yeah, it's like they spiked us with some shit, but it was the damn prowlers.
But the thing is with that though, that's the difference because I feel like I never felt tired during the game. Like I never got to the point in the game where I was like, man, I can't go. I'm just nice. Like, yo, just give me a second. Like whatever it was in between plays, I'm like, I'm good. I'm gonna catch my breath and I'm gonna keep going.
Facts. Never felt like I couldn't keep going.
Right.
Yeah, maybe I need a little breather, give me a little bit of water, but I'm straight. Let's go.
No, that's crazy. Nice.
All right.
What we got? Man.
Let's see what else we want to talk about. Hey, so now we've been, we had some success in college. I feel like the craziest part, I don't know, for me is like the most iconic game for me is the Virginia Tech game. That was the first game I played in, and it was just wild. Like the whole stadium rocking. everything was crazy. We had them clean ass uniforms they just gave us. I was like, man,
Crazy.
this is some top notch.
Like
only game
that was
on
my first
Monday night. It was a Monday night game. Only game on TV.
That stuff was crazy.
I think
it was
top
the first
10
time.
matchup.
Was it a top 10
matchup?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I sit back and realize like we were really ranked number 3 in the nation at some point, and I feel like having those experiences. What was it? What was like one of the highlight experiences for you, or first game you played in college where you were like, "Yo, this is it," or an experience you had like, "Yo, this is definitely top notch football."
Man, I got a couple, man. It's not even just one for me. Obviously, like the Fiesta Bowl, being in there because those dudes were good. Like TCU was good, and I remember we had now ran that fake that we did on punt. We ran that earlier in the season against Hawaii. So
Right.
TCU was dialed up. When I tell you they was dialed up, them dudes was out there calling. We had called it one time. We called the fake earlier in the game. We called it, and we didn't run it because they were like, "Watch the fake, watch the fake." Like they were calling it out. And I remember it's either a timeout happened or something happened. We would have to ask J-Rod because J-Rod was the PP. And I just remember J-Rod telling Choke on the sideline how they was calling it out, blah, blah, blah. But we already knew like who to block. We knew we had done it so and perfected it so well, like we knew it was gonna work. It didn't matter if they was calling it out or not. But when we ran it, it was like I'll never forget like being in there and running it, and there's no easy call. Like I think that was the code, like easy to call it off. I think I can't remember.
Right.
There was no there was no easy call. So it was like, oh, like it's on, we doing it. And we ran it, and it was crazy. It went crazy. Then, I think that next year we played Virginia Tech. That was the loudest, like, stadium. Like, it was crazy. It was like a Virginia Tech home game because you remember they had the little they played Enter the Sandman. You remember?
Yeah.
And all those, they just started jumping. And, oh man, it was crazy. That game, and then obviously for me coming back home and playing Georgia was bigger than like it was just big having my family there. And we playing Georgia, SEC school, and we beat these teams. Georgia went on to win the SEC that year. Mm-hmm. So we're not playing no weak teams. Like we're playing teams.
Right.
They had Tyrod, they had the 3 running backs, they had dudes, man. And then I remember my senior year, we played Michigan State, being in that stadium, and they got Leonidas on the stadium on the. The guy from the 300 movie, they got him all over the TVs all around the stadium, and him getting them hyped up. So it's even BYU. My senior year, we played BYU. That may be the loudest I've ever heard. Broncos. That may be the loudest. Like the ground was.
I forgot about that.
And like when I tell people, like we played Taysom Hill was the quarterback. Ziggy Ansah was on that team. Ziggy was a first-round draft pick. Like Jamal Williams was the running back. Like we played some dudes, and because everybody always wanted, they didn't play anybody. Man, you better go look at the people that was on the teams. Like we played dudes, even Fresno. I never lost to Fresno. So playing, Carr and what's the receiver for the Raiders?
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Adams, like playing some dudes, man. Like, come on, man. But there was always some big games that we played in that were kind of like this is like a video game. This is like you said, G, it's like a movie. Like the ground is shaking. It's so loud I can't even hear. Type. Like, it's been some moments.
My first realization that that just the environment that we were in, that it was just like it was big time and it was nice, and I wasn't even playing yet, but it was the first game I experienced as a Boise State Bronco on the blue. Right, that was when we played Oregon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
crazy.
But it was not just the game alone, right? Because now this is my first year at Boise. The year before, Y'all played TCU in the Poinsettia Bowl, right? What you were talking about earlier, and and it just I remember that momentum y'all had, just like going into next season and just like the preparation. I remember the countdown, 100 days till game day. How I remember we counting down everything, how many workouts we had, how many Tuesday conditioning days we had, how many decks we had till that game. And then the game came, right? So like I think I didn't realize how big it was because I was still kind of new in the college scene. But then we coming outside of our dorms, and now I see the whole parking lot is
Talk
packed,
about it, G. Talk
with
about it.
attendees and students and all that, right? Like, bro, like it was wrapping around from like the ticket office all the way to Boise River. You know what I'm saying? Like it wrapped around the building. Like we woke up and the fans was overnighting, bro. You
They
know what I'm
slept
saying?
there. They slept there.
On
It
the
was
parking lot.
they slept there.
That's
Gee, you bring
crazy.
it. That's a
Crazy.
great moment, bro. You bringing back memories, bro. Like
So
they were outside. That's when I realized, like, oh, this for
you know,
real.
Yeah.
I was like, see, like honestly, at that point, I was like, damn, I didn't know it was this serious. You know what I mean? I honestly didn't know at that point. But then I found out, like this shit means a lot to a lot of like, yeah, we prepared like that, and I thought like, this is our way of doing things because no, I'm still a freshman and everything, but the people there, and then like that energy that we had, and then after that game, bro, like after that game, how everything felt to me, it's like I saw the preparation we did to win that game, right? I saw the preparation we did to win that game, and then the rest of the season, like, bro, it felt like I already knew what the score was going to be before we even played the teams, just by the way how we was practicing too. I remember when we knew when I knew that we were, like doing well. I don't know who we were playing again. It might have been the same year we were playing maybe LA Tech or Fresno or whatever, but it was an away game, right? And we had practice at home. And I remember as a scout team, we went off, right? We just had a good team. Maybe we were playing San Jose at San Jose or whatever, but we were just having such a good team. We had a good week. And it's not like our starting defense did bad, but like I just felt like, we went off as a scout team, right? And then I remember we went on the road, the guys came back, and I remember just kind of talking to even the coaches or some of the players even mentioned like, yo, like our scout team is better than the offense, you know what I mean? Type of stuff. Like now I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? Put me in there, put us in there, like we can do this, like, and yeah, bro. But then after that, it just started to be the norm, right? Like just the like, I felt like there was all the games that played at Boise, we prepared in a certain kind of like a certain way, right? Even the games that we lost, and even like they were by a few points, like maybe a few things were maybe off or maybe on our preparation or whatever. But it's only been one game where I felt like as a team we weren't prepared, and like definitely the end result showed. And that was our very last game in the bowl game, our very last game we had in Hawaii. To be honest, like I felt like as a team we weren't prepared like that. But then looking back, that also like that showed me like there's difference to this thing. Like you have preparing for a game. You know what I mean? And like what we did, we were thorough with that. And it was not just preparing, but then what came afterwards, right? Like the correct and refuel, but then in such a way that we could build off of that, and we just kept building off that momentum kind of thing. Boy, I felt that. I felt that. So for me, it was after Oregon. A long story.
My dad tell me this story. I remember this story talking to my dad about after the Virginia Tech game. If y'all remember that game came down, we was down in the last couple of maybe like minute or something. We were down, and my dad was like, "Man, I was just up there." He was like nervous because we got the ball late, and it's like we got to drive down, and they was playing good defense too, but
Right.
we had I remember talking to him at the end of the game, and he was like, "Y'all just went down there and scored like it was easy." And I was like, "Dad, we practiced that so much.
So
Like we
much.
practiced for that moment so much. We practiced 2 minute drill. We remember we always started off practice with red ball and stuff like that. Like we practiced for those moments. So when it happened, nobody went tight on the sideline. Like Kellen know who he was gonna get the ball to. AP knew he was gonna catch it. DJ and Doug knew where they was gonna run it, whatever it took. Peanut, they knew they was gonna get. Everybody knew they role, knew their job, and if the ball hit their hands, they got active, and so it was like not a surprise for us. Like you said, G. Like I don't think I've ever been in a game.
So
or
I don't
ever,
want to go. Sorry, can I want to pick a little piece of that moment, right? Because feed that game-winning touchdown Pettis scored. Because I know that play. Because it's like I wanted that play. Everybody would want that play if you're a receiver, right? Pettis playing the Z was that double post route. The slot is pulling their safety away, and then it was like red. We used to call it Red Devil, I believe, or whatever. But bro, like you say, bro, we practice for it so much, and they told us to visualize ourselves in that moment. Sure, freaking Kellen and Pettis did, but bro, I was visualizing that moment. You know what I mean? When Carter caught that, I caught that thing. I knew it was coming, bro. We knew that play. We practiced so many times, bro. That was the execution of things, and then how that feel, right? When you have that perfect execution on that, boy. It made me really miss it though, the way how we used to connect on some of these things, man. That's wild.
No, I agree. I think that's the thing that we played with Kellen, and we also had Southwick, we had Grant, and just realizing they're good quarterbacks, but it's just something special about Kellen that I feel like once you're in the midst of it, you don't realize how detailed he was and how perfect everything went, because that's just what he did. But then looking at for me, it's having the realization, watching college football and looking at other quarterbacks, and I'm like, dude, he's solid, but I'll take Kellen over anybody. And I think it's I don't know. I think we were really blessed to be in that era, because I feel like, to me, as a player, I had a lot of personal development. I started getting a lot of reps because Kellen was just nice. We'd be up by 28 points, 30 points, after the first quarter, and then they'd be like, "Yo, you scrubs, go get some reps in." And I think that's really when I started to get better. So, what do you guys think about that? You think that led to you guys to your development?
For sure. I'm gonna come back to that, but it's so hard to win, man. It as a coach now, being a coach, I kind of, during that time at Boise, we won so much, and not we just win in this 1918. Like you said, we beat people by 20 points, where everybody's getting reps, everybody's getting better, and live game reps. And I now know that it's so hard to win. It's hard to win, man. Every week it's hard to win. We finishing games in victory formation, and I can count on one hand how many times I had a victory formation in high school and coaching, just all my years of coaching. Bro, it is so hard to win. But I think part of that is it's not only the game. You was prepared because you on scout team, whether you was on service team, scout team, you getting some second reps. Everybody was selfless. It went about you. And once you understood that, you knew, okay, I'm going to get my reps. I may be getting reps on scout team right now or service team, but I'm going against the best dudes in the conference right now. So if you can ball out against them, like you were saying, G, on offense, you ball out against the first team defense. Yeah, they're not having a bad day. You just balling. But if you can ball out against them, now I got the utmost confidence when I get in the game. I'm not practice against a dude that's going to be all conference or maybe all all American, whatever it may be. I'm not practice against one of the best in the country. So I know when I get in the game, once that opportunity come, I'm already ready to play. But I already know once I get in the game, it's a wrap. I'm not playing it. I know the dude that I'm playing against, that I practice against, is better than this dude. I remember filling out some stuff for the NFL, and they who's the best running back you played against? And I put two. I would put Le'Veon Bell, and I put Doug Martin. And it's I got to practice against Doug every day, 9-on-7. I already know what time it is. Doug and DJ beating them in the hole. This ain't no. Oh, it's gonna be soft period or these dudes ain't good. No, they out there battling. We had at one time we had like 5 running backs that could all get in the game and play. You had Doug, DJ, Jeremy Avery, Hodge, Ralph. Like you had dudes that can all play. So 9-on-7 inside run, like we playing real football. So when it was time to get in the game, it was all good. I was prepared. I already knew what time it was. I knew my plays. They kept it simple for us to play fast, and we balled out.
I think that's true. I think for me, that's how I felt too going through practice. I used to hate going to practice, going up against our old guys. And then I get to the game, and not half as hard playing in the game against their O linemen than it was being at practice against our guys. So yeah, I think it shows to the quality of players we had. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
For me, it definitely it shaped me as a player, I would say, because I mean, you guys know our team, right? And then going against our DBs, and that was a group that had just a lot of pride, sense of pride alone. You know what I mean? Just at like in their position and who they are, how they represent themselves on the field, kind of thing. So, I mean, I felt like we were just very competitive. You know what I mean? There was no room to like take it off with those guys anyway. So that was nice for me, man. I love competing against those guys. And like, I mean, look at them. You know what I mean? We look back at those DBs that represented Boise State. I mean, yeah, man, hard workers day in, day out. So I mean, I love that. But not only the DBs, I loved it every single bit of it. Special teams, like everybody would participate in special teams, you know, like there's so many other teams I've been on that like treated special team kind of as a B team or something like that, or like, you know, let players get a little bit of playing time kind of team. But nah, it was just straight, yeah, dogs like everywhere, right? So like every little aspect that we did at practice, you know, as a team or even individual, or, you know, like competition wise, man, yeah, that shaped me for sure.
Awesome. So hey, so you know, Tommy, you play with the Browns. Geraldo, you play with the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks. Is that Falcons? Sorry about that. Atlanta Hawks. So yeah, what do you feel like was the big difference going from you know, top level Division I school to the pros? What was the biggest thing that stood out to you guys?
Knowing every day could be that day. Like I think people don't really understand that if you probably, I would say first, second round, if you're not one of those guys, you can be gone ASAP.
Yeah.
Like for the amount of time that I spent there, I would say in college, I knew I had to go to practice the next day. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, when early, especially early, like freshman, sophomore year, or redshirt freshman, freshman redshirt freshman year, whatever, however you count it. It's like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna be here for 4 years or whatever it may be. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna work hard, blah blah blah. But now it's like, this is a job. Like at first, you're doing to get your school paid for. You know, you're doing it to continue to reach your goals of playing in the league. But now you in the league, it's a job. Like you don't know the plays, okay. You're not going home to study the playbook. Okay, cool. You're gonna be out of here because the craziest thing to me was it had nothing to do with football. The craziest thing to me was seeing people get cut after something. And they were out of there. It wasn't like they got cut and then you saw them that night and y'all talked. No, when they got cut, they were gone. So it's like it was no like I just remember being in a meeting one time. So at this time, like it's like OTAs or something like that. So at this time we would go out. We would I think we would lift. We'll meet, go out, do a walkthrough, lunch, meet again, go to practice, something like that. All right. So I just remember we lived, we went to the meeting. I just remember being in the meeting and then going to the walkthrough. And this dude I was cool with, like he was a year older than me. I was just cool with one of the guys I was cool with. So we go out, we go in the locker room, get dressed, and I'm expecting to see him on the field. I didn't see him on the field. And then I'm like asking everybody, like, where bro at? They like he just probably got cut. And no, but it was a normal deal. Like nobody else was like, oh, he got cut. They was like, all right, let's we in this drill. Let's be locked into a drill. And I was like, man, this is a whole different lifestyle. So it's like every day you working because it may be your day. That Grand Reaper may get it's time.
Grand Reaper.
But it may be your day. So every day you coming in, you going at your hardest. And I just wish, I kind of it took for me to break my leg my junior year for me to really like understand I love this game and I don't want it to be taken from me. Like I don't want it to be taken from me. I want to work hard. I want to give my best because when it's gone, it's gone. Like breaking my leg my junior year, I was like, dang man, I want to be out there playing. You never really realize how much you really want to practice because when you practicing it's hard stuff like that. But I think the league kind of changed my mindset on one, never give up your reps. Like your rep, like the coach gave you the reps for a reason. I don't care how tired you are. You could have went 20 plays in a row. Play, like figure it out. Play, and two, like don't take it for granted because when it's over, it's over. It ain't as easy. Like it's you really kind of lucky to get in because it's a lot of good football players. I don't think people really understand it. It's a lot of good talent. Like we got these other leagues like the UFL and all those different leagues like that. Like you got leagues where guys are playing. It's like really good talent all over the country. So if you make it to the league, drafted or undrafted, don't matter. You got to grind because everybody, when you really figure out like. The dude told me one time, one of the older linebackers, he asked, we went to lunch. So we all out, me, him, and another dude, we all out, and we just talking, and he's like, yeah, man, a lot of dudes don't like being friends with rookies because they know they're gonna be gone. Like at the end of the day, you either coming from my job, or you're gonna be gone. Because you can only keep so many people.
Right.
I hear you on that. Yeah. No, I agree. That it's yeah, it can get mental, man. I remember my time at Atlanta. I approached that part a little bit different, because I remember just being there. Like I just didn't want that part to affect me, so I just kind of treated like I've been there before. Like like man, I got there, and mind you, if I come from a trip, I'm the kind of guy like, man, my bag, I don't even unpack for I don't know how long, right? But as soon as I got to Atlanta, but I unpacked everything. I was there to stay, bro. I was not gonna go nowhere. I was gonna make myself comfortable, and the reason I remember thinking that too because it was funny because there was a lot of guys, there was a lot of dudes that didn't do that because we had hard knocks, right? And I remember after after OTAs or after camp or whatever, we would be in the rooms in the dorms at Flowery Branch. We would be watching and stuff. We would be watching the episodes from last week. But you see, like how Hard Knocks is. You get cut, they're gonna put that camera right up in your face, right? So some of these guys was ready to leave. Like if they knew, we knew like after this weekend, it's time, boys started packing their bags. They was like, boy, if they come for me though, like the cameras are not gonna have fun out of it. And I'm like, nah. So my mindset was different, but I hear you on that. I think the hardest things, I don't know, everything is harder because it's a job, you know what I mean? Like you're not a student anymore. There's grown men out there with families, and me messing up on the field that could maybe also mess it up for someone else, right? So now I'm messing up his bread, you know what I mean? So now like it's a different kind of accountability you're gonna get because you got to be accountable for that. You know your play, you know your playbook, you went in there and all that. But what if a young buck doesn't get it, or what if the person that plays beside you doesn't get it? It might be it's just not clicking. Like hey. Like I seen grown men, like, even to me, like they'll come up to you and be like, hey, let's sit down, man. Let's get this shit right. Because like we can't be out there on the field tomorrow and fuck it up again. Because either me or you, we won't be here again, right? And then you have a different, like, it's like, all right, like, yeah, first the football is fun and all that, but now it gets to like, people's livelihood. So I think that's a big difference. Let's see. I think plays. Eventually, I think play-wise, I mean, I won't say it was easy. It just took a lot of time. You know, I mean, days were early. We started off early, man. Breakfast starts at 7, you know, and I'm one that trying to get my breakfast in early so I can get my cold tub or hot tub in and all these kind of things, right? And you won't make it back to the room till like 10, you know, maybe even 11 as a rookie, because the old guys always get to leave a little bit sooner than, you know, young guys got to stay in a little bit. So now you might leave to the room at 10. You have an evening snack, bro. You have like, you counting the hours, you have less than 8 hours to like for the next day. I still have to study my playbook. And then here they go telling me like you need 8 hours of sleep in order to like be good. I'm like, all right, like how are you gonna do that, right? So I think camp, man. It was not easy, bro. I think the camp that I did at Atlanta, that summer was the summer I ran the hardest and the most miles I've done any other summer, bro. Like I don't think I ever jogged on the field. Everything was full speed. I went from like doing receiver stuff to doing kickoff stuff to doing punting stuff to back to receiving stuff, and everything was full speed. Didn't take anything off. And then I heard Tommy say something earlier about taking place off. Man, that was crazy to me. That was crazy to me. Taking place off? Nah. I think that was definitely also something that got me an advantage because I was able to give myself some more plays. I remember my year when I was there, Julio came off a broken foot. Roddy wasn't like practicing that much anymore, so I was taking some of their reps, right? Man, that was all it took. And then of course you can't mess it up once you get the opportunity. You mess up once, two times, it's like it's literally over with. Like, you know what I mean? It's like nobody has time for that. You can't even break the huddle as a receiver, go one side, and then you see that happening. Like a receiver break the huddle, and then he runs to the right side of the field first, and then it's like, oh no, I gotta be on the left side of the field, bro. That shit happened, nah, bro. It's over with. Like, so you just gotta keep your composure. Keep your composure in those times. But even at practice, but I can keep going on and on on this, bro. But yeah.
Okay, so you got something to say, Tom?
I was gonna ask you about, what was your biggest thing, and I also wanted to say like one of the things that if I could go back and do it better, one of the biggest changes for me was eating right, like understanding again this is a job. I never again like it's about experiences, man, and I didn't have anybody in my family or anybody that I was close with that played in the league that can really tell me, hey, you need to be training, you need to go get you this type of trainer, or you need to be working on this, or you need to
Right.
eat like this. Like eating is a whole deal because some people got it. Like Chad Johnson go through this thing, Ocho versus Science. Like some people got it. I've seen Doug Martin and DJ Harper on a Friday show up and kick everybody butt, and they ate McDonald's before.
Yeah.
I've seen them outrun people on the decks, outrun people on the jiggle jangles, and they've eaten McDonald's. I've seen that happen. I've seen it. Like, so some people just got it. But when you get to that level and everybody's good at football, you got to find something what's going to make you different, like what's going to pull you out and make you different that you may not be the superstar athlete. You may just be a really good football player. But
Right.
how you gonna treat like my roommate, for example? My roommate had 9% body fat. At the end of dinner, he out here eating ice cream and apple pie. Bro, if I would have ate that, I would have been so big. But I was looking at him like, man, I really want to eat that. Put syrup on my on breakfast. I'm looking at dudes they eating fruit, and I was like, I didn't know. I just didn't know. But if I can go back and do it again, that's something that I would change, like your diet, making sure you just really understanding how serious it is. I think part of it is I didn't know how big of a deal being in the league was because my talent and my work ethic had gotten me so far, and that got me to that moment. I just stayed with what I knew. I didn't really change or change those habits of eating better, getting me a speech because and then I was in the transition between the style of play. Like I was in that transition of playing linebacker when it was a real fullback, like real fullback, real running back, and they running the ball at you till okay, now we about to open this thing up and this one running back, and for a tight end that can run and three receivers out there. So I was in that transition of like, coming downhill, meeting the fullback, to now I'm apex between three, and I got to be ready to play run and pass, RPOs, and all that type of stuff. So life was just a little bit different for me.
Yeah.
I feel that. I think that's one of the things that I would have done different too. I just for me, all throughout my whole football career is like not having that infrastructure of, hey, I have a trainer that I go to when I go home to the Netherlands. This is my trainer that I go to working on these specific movements. Same thing when you got to the league, like, you know, a lot of times if you're not blessed to be signed to a bigger agency that has that infrastructure as well, where they could say, hey, we'll send you here, we'll send you there, we got this and that for you. I think that's a big help for you to have longevity in playing in the league. Because I if I would have known, I don't know, the way I looked at it, like I got hurt, and I was just rehabbing with the Chargers, you know, getting back into it. But if I'd have had somebody in my ear say, hey, you need to find you another trainer because you need to work on this and that so you can get back faster, and have somebody there, I think that would have made a big difference. But I was going off of what I seen, you know, in college. Like, you just trust the trainers and they'll get you back on your feet. But if I'd have known that, I would have done a little bit more. And that's just throughout my whole career. But I think it's crazy because I feel like in the league there are guys that are just super talented. Like, you got guys that are just they're guys, but then you also have the guys that are just like they're at the right time in the right place. Where I feel like they're not that good, you know what I'm saying? But they have a good connection with the coach, or the coach likes them, or whatever it is, and they're just available, which allows them to be in the league much longer. And I feel like I didn't realize that before. I thought it was just going to be the top of the top guys. But, you know, I've seen some guys on teams where I was like, man, I know that I can be better. I'm better than right now, and I can be better of an asset to the team. But if you're not healthy or you're not doing the right things, that works in your disadvantage.
Correct.
So, hey, so Tommy, hey, you brought us some key information here. Let me pull it up, and you can talk us through it. I think it's going to be a very a good piece of information for the young players that are looking to up their game. Here goes.
Yeah. So right here, so if you're playing linebacker, this is just some fundamental stuff. So when I say fundamentals, and this is kind of like, this is where, like, I picked this up in college, but I teach my kids now about this because in good programs they know about reading the guards or reading the end man on the line of scrimmage, whatever it may be. But for me, coming out of high school, I was just a football player, like C-ball, more athletic than other people, so I can just get there and make it play. Well, in college, Coach Choate, I remember on Saturdays, I was staying in Chafee. He brought me in and taught me how to read the guards and all that good stuff. So I'll just go through this and we can go from there. If people got questions, we can go from there. But so reading guards, right? I tell my kids all the time that reading guards, this is very similar. A lot of kids play Call of Duty right now. So this is very similar to playing Call of Duty. And what I mean by that is the offensive guards are kind of like your enemy that's standing right in front of you. The tailback, the quarterback is like the sniper in the window. If you don't take care of the people that's your enemy that's right in front of you, you don't have to worry about the sniper because you'll be done. So I tell my kids that all the time. We always trying to look in the backfield and see what's going on, and they're going to give you a false read. Like the O-line, they have one job. They're not going to run. They're not going to catch the ball. They're not going to run the ball. They got one job. It's to block. So they're going to tell you, if you just can lock in on your keys and read if you're inside back and read the guard, if you outside of the box, read the tackle, they're going to tell you run or pass. And I keep it as simple as this. I tell them, if the offensive lineman is coming towards you, you need to go towards them. If they're stepping back, you need to step back. So, for instance, if they're stepping back, it's a pass. Then I need to get into my drop. I need to be working away from them. If they're stepping up, and I tell people it's like a sheet of glass being in front of you. Did they step up and break the glass? If they step up, you need to step up because it's run. We need to meet that force with force. So right here, what you see is, it's a triangle read. You got your primary key, secondary key, and your window. So what it means is my primary key. If I'm in the box, so the red linebacker and the black linebacker, the LB, that's the linebacker. If I'm inside of the box, meaning tackle to tackle, if I'm inside, I'm going to read my guard. The guards in a lot of offenses, they do the pulling and creating extra gaps on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. They'll do a run read, run read, whether it's flow. When I say flow, that's like a gap scheme. So they're all stepping in the same direction, but your gap is moving. Or they may have pullers where it's a gap scheme. They create another gap on the other side of the line of scrimmage, wherever they pulling to. So first thing you need to do is when you got to lock in, you got to read your guard. They're going to tell you run pass. Low hat, they coming out the ball, they breaking glass, it's run, they step back, it's high hat, it's pass, you open and do your deal. From that, okay, so if it's run, my secondary key is going to be the backfield flow. Okay, where's that running back at? And I'm going to give you a little nugget here. What I've been telling my kids is key to guard to the running back side. Usually in offense, they want to run away from where they started. It's not a lot of guys that go straight downhill. So if you read that guard is going to lead you to that secondary key of the tailback. If he pulls that tailback gonna follow him. So we're reading the primary key going to the running back, and then which is the secondary key. If it's a pass, you're reading the guard. He pops up like a little gopher out of the hole. Pass, okay. Then you get your eyes to the quarterback. Is it 3-step? Is it 5-step? If it's 3-step, like everybody's in shotgun right now, they catch the ball, they just turn. Okay, or they're gonna catch the ball and take a couple of steps back. If they catch the ball and turn, we need to sprint. Exactly where they looking. They about to throw the ball. If it's 5-step, they get in their drop, they take a couple of steps back. Then we need to drop back and start moving out the quarterback, depending on whatever coverage that they teaching. From there's the window. Okay, so for the window in the run game. So let me just take you through it. So for an example, if you look at the on the one back set, the picture on the left. If you look at the red linebacker, number 1 is his guard. Number 2 is the tailback. Number 3 is the guard to the right. Okay. So what happens is if I read my guard, the left guard, where the number 1 is, I read him and he pulls. I'm looking towards the tailback. Where's the tailback going? The tailback's going to the right. Now my window is going to be that guard tackle over there because they're double teaming up to the linebacker. So I need to keep my guard, which is going to take me to the window fit. If he pulls towards the right, the window is going to be that backside guard, backside tackle. One of those guys is going to come off and try to block me, and I'll show you film of what it looks like. If it's a pass, then I see high hat. I get my eyes to the quarterback, 3-step, 5-step. If it's 3-step, 5-step, whatever it is, you get your eyes to the landmark, eyes to the threat. Who is the nearest receiver in your threat? Then you move towards that person. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yep, I'm with you.
Okay. So Rick, can you actually? So if you guys are more interested, we can get into this deal where this is footwork. This is things that we start, and I got videos of this stuff where we're as you see in that top picture there, the coaches right there in the white, they're just mimicking the guys in orange are mimicking the guy in the white. So he steps left, it's like a mirror drill. So he steps left. If the offensive guy step with his left foot, the defensive guy gonna step with his right foot. We should be mimicking the offensive lineman because the ball is gonna go where they block. They're there for a reason. That bottom clip is a flow. So we're working on zone flow and hitting your gap, getting down as fast as you can. Okay. So show you a little bit of film. Can you just pull up one, Rick, for me? Okay. So right here is going to be the side view, and it's going to be the sideline view and the back view. So right now we're just looking at LSU linebackers reading Texas O-line. So they got the motion, nobody moved. But right here, we're going to key the left linebacker. Can you guys see my cruiser or no?
I cannot see it.
Okay. So it'll look, you'll see it. Let's just go to the back view. I'll show you the back view. But you see the guards pulling on the offensive side, and you're going to see these guys be able to flow and play fast. So right here on the back view, so we see number 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep, if you see number 6, linebacker number 6, and then right across from him is number 70-something. He got his hand in the ground. To the right of number 6 is the O lineman with his hand in the ground. So that's who he's keying. That his primary key is that guard. The running back is to his side. So I know that guard pull, the running back, my secondary key is probably following the guard, but I need to get my eyes. If you see 45 here, I need to get my, if that guard pulls, like we saw him pull on the side view, if that guard pulls, I need to get my eyes over here to the other guard tackle because one of those guys are coming up to block me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So right here, let's just look at it. So we see number 6. Okay. Guard pull. You see the guard pull?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So guard pull. Okay. So right now they blocked down, but I get my eyes. You see 6 got his eyes up to the secondary key to running back. Okay. Right now he don't have anybody. There's just free space. So he gonna take that space. Does that make sense? He just taking the space because there's the way the stunt that the LSU ran. The backside cannot get up to the front to number 6. The backside D line, they can't. I mean, the backside O line cannot get up to number 6. So now 6 is able to run through and make the play.
Right.
Makes sense? Okay, let's go to the next clip, Rick. Here we got Boise State versus Oregon. Okay, and same thing. Okay, same thing. You got your guards. You got your primary key, secondary key. Okay, so right now we're looking at 58. He's on the right side, 58. He's reading his guard. 38 right there is reading his guard. Okay, so the guard on 58 side. Okay, the back flip, and it's not 100%, but a lot of guys like to do this so they can break tendencies. They don't want to keep the running back away from where they want to run, so they can try to break tendencies. And this is just a tendency breaker. So we're going to see 58 looking at the guard there. Okay, his guard pull. And you're going to see he going to shuffle down the line. Okay. His secondary key, you see that double team. I think that's number 64. You see number 99, that guard next to him. They're double teaming that D lineman. They trying to work up to the backside backer. They can't get him. And he keeps shuffling across. He's right there to make the tackle. Okay. And then let's go to the next one, Rick. Okay. Here's another clip. I think this is the same clip. That's the same clip. So we're all good. We're all good. So those are just 2 examples right there. The guard following the linebacker following their primary key. See guard pull. I need to get my eyes. So if my guard pull to the right, I want to get my eyes to the right so I can see who's coming up to try to block me. Once I see who's trying to come to block me, I need to defeat it. Nobody's coming to block me. Now it's time to play football. I see an open hole. To me, it's the same as playing running back. You'll never run into a hole as a linebacker. You'll never run into a hole that's cluttered. Like there's not an opening. So I'm trying to find an open space as I get my eyes to the window. But I can get more detailed in that stuff. If people are interested, I can get more details, show more clips, what it looks like versus zone, what it looks like versus gap scheme, what it looks like versus pass. Because it's a whole it's so much to learn, man. So many steps. And that's good for coaches to be able to ask good questions and players just to want to get better at their game. So this is stuff that I do on a daily with my kids and individual so I can help them be better football players and help them read and play faster. Once they get, once they do this in individual a lot, they start to take it over to team and start to take it over to 9-on-7 and that stuff started to work. And all they have to do is make one play doing it. And once they make that play, they're hooked. And now you get them to read their cues.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, dropping some gems here, and I think this could be very useful for a lot of people here on this side of the pond. Like you say yourself, not only coaches but even players. I think it's nice to bring that football cue up. I mean, it's a lot of talented players out there, can ball really well. Know the game also. But I think what you have here. It's just like a blueprint, right? Like, I mean, it's basically it's really teaching you the game. It's teaching you the fundamentals. It's teaching you what to read, where your eyes are supposed to be at a certain moment when things are happening on the field. And I think what we unfortunately lack of a little bit here on this side is just people who can explain it just as well as you did, right? But I mean, your experience tells also. I know you're teaching this to your guys currently right now, but just the years of experience that you carry yourself. So I think it's really dope, man. It's really cool. I'd love to see more from this. So see what we can do and how that would look like.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I think
we get a group. If we can get a group, like if there's guys that want to learn, like I told you guys before, we always talk football, but if there's guys that really want to learn, especially as my season starts to wind down and things of that nature, I have clips, like good coaching clips, because I'm breaking down a lot of film. I'm showing this, like I got those clips to show my players.
Yeah.
So I have clips of high school players doing. I'm always trying to collect teach tape as I go through it. Because everything is not like you're not gonna get that. That was two different teams, and I just pulled two clips from two different teams. But
Mhm.
it's good to see just different things so guys can understand. Like reading your primary key is going to take you to making the play.
Yeah.
All that stuff that you're doing in the off season, you working with your trainer, you're doing some one-on-one stuff. You have to know where to go for that stuff to be in effect. If you don't know how to read and know how to play and know what you're looking at, you can do as many ladder drills as you want. You can do as many cross chops as you want. It don't matter if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
right. Yep. I think this is some good information. I think the biggest thing for me is realizing how important the eyes are in making plays, and just having this little blueprint to figure out where you need to go, where your eyes should be. I think it's going to help a lot of players make plays. And you're open to sharing this as well. So if you're interested in more information, drop a comment and we'll get in touch and we'll reach out and get some more information to you.